Good morning. This is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel as I continue on my part series, The Week That Was, College Football History and Review, the 1960 college football season. Now, as I continue with this recap of the games that were played week to week, now I'm on week number 10, November 19th, 1960, the games that were played during that season, during that week. So we're going to start with Yale, the number 14 team in the country, beat Harvard by a score of 39-6. Yale completed its first undefeated season since 1923, swamping its biggest rival. Initial possession found Eli's breaking halfback Ken Wolf loose for a 41-yard touchdown run behind blocks of all of line stars tackle Mike Powell and guard Ben Baum. Yale defensive end John Hutchinson sped 48 yards with interception touchdown, and kicker Gordon Cake kicked field goal for a 17-0 halftime lead. But after the Bulldogs' first squad retired with a 23-0 third quarter edge, sub quarterback Bill Leckenby threw two touchdowns. Harvard prevented shutout with late score as Harvard quarterback Charlie Riverboat Gamble Ravenel tallied on a short run after throwing a 56-yard pass to end Pete Hart. Meanwhile, Penn State beat Pittsburgh by a score of 14-3 as halfback Jim Kerr went from GOAT to hero as his opening kickoff fumble provided Pitt with platform for halfback kicker Fred Cox's 35-yard field goal. So in the fourth quarter, Kerr caught a 30-yard pass from quarterback Galen Moore to put Penn State ahead for good at 6-3 for 48 minutes. Panthers defense, spearheaded by end Mike Dicker and guard Larry Vignali, had blanketed conservative Lions offense. But after Kerr's catch, the Lions went 42 yards to another touchdown, ending Bob Meninger's leaping 3-yard catch. Upset took place as number 6 Duke lost to North Carolina 7-6. Scoreless first half saw number 6 Duke kicker Bill Reynolds miss field goal from 28 yards out. But late in the third quarter, halfback Mark Leggett fielded punt deep in own territory and raced 55 yards with return to launch favorite Blue Devils' 40-yard touchdown drive. The Devils fullback Dave Birch surged over for touchdown with 11:39 left in the fourth quarter. But North Carolina defensive lineman Tony Hennessy blocked extra point with 6 minutes to go. Guard Fred Mueller gave Tar Heels field position with tackle for 12-yard loss that forced Duke to punt. Quarterback Ray Farris ran over on fourth down from 3-yard line, and kicker Bob Elliott kicked the winning point for the huge upset. Meanwhile, number 10, Ohio State, shut out Michigan by a score of 7-0. On their fourth trip of first half into Buckeyes territory, the Wolverines marched 68 yards, but in kicker Bill Freehan, future Detroit Tiger catcher, missed 30-yard field goal to right in last minute of second quarter. Outplayed and outgained for three quarters, Ohio State ended third quarter on halfback Bob Klein's hustle. Klein alertly ran up to catch Michigan halfback punter Reed Bushong's short punt at midfield and returned it to Michigan 42-yard line. So Ohio State proceeded finally to break scoreless tie as quarterback Tom Matte sneaked 5 yards and turned matters over to fullback Bob Ferguson, 80 yards on 16 carries, battered 4-2-14 and final 17 yards for the touchdown early in the fourth quarter. Unfortunate Buckeyes interception by guard linebacker Mike Ingram, who flipped lateral to halfback defensive back Jim Herbstreit to complete 48-yard return. And quarterback defensive back Bill Murakowski halted late Michigan threats built on passing of quarterback Dave Glinka. Meanwhile, Northwestern beat Illinois by a score of 14-7. Number 4, Minnesota beat Wisconsin 26-7. Number 4, Minnesota found itself in an unlikely opportunity to reclaim the number 1 national ranking thanks to Missouri's upset to Kansas. Minnesota stormed back from its Purdue loss to tie Iowa for the Big Ten title, each sporting a 4-5-1 conference record. Wisconsin center John Goddard lost freak fumble on center quarterback exchange, and quarterback Ron Miller backpedaled too soon and ball popped up only to find hands of Gophers line fine defensive end Bob Deacons. Minnesota scored 7 plays later on quarterback Sandy Stevens' touchdown run. Badgers gained control of middle quarters but could manage only Miller's 15-yard touchdown pass to end Hank Derleth midway in the second quarter. The trend deficit to 12-7. Gophers repelled two Badgers scoring threats in third quarter while nursing lead, then ran away with two touchdown runs in fourth quarter. Halfback Bill Mulholland's 4-yard touchdown run and quarterback Bob Johnson's 18-yard touchdown sprint with 5:36 to play. Number 2, Iowa shut out Notre Dame 28-0. Iowa dropped its record 8th straight loss on Notre Dame. It was final win for Iowa Cap featured athletic director Forrest of Apashevsky against team he most wanted to defeat in his last year. At the game, assistant coach Jerry Burns, the future Minnesota Viking coach, was named to head Hawkeyes in 1961. And defensive end Bill Whistler had second play, fumble recovery, and caught 28-yard touchdown pass for Hawkeyes. Irish advanced for only 95 yards and managed to penetrate to Iowa's 17-yard line no earlier than the fourth quarter. So in Monday's AP poll, the Hawkeyes attracted most first-place votes, but were leapfrogged for number 1 by Minnesota, the conference from November the 5th. Next, Rice beat Texas Christian. Now, Rice was ranked number 14 in the country against Texas Christian. They beat them and scored 23-0. So, in worst to date defeat for any Abe Martin coached team at TCU, Rice used 6 turnovers to convert 3 of its 4 scores. TCU had solid air game in first half, with quarterback Sonny Gibbs and Don George hitting 10 for 14 for 104 yards, but by game's end, Rice's defense had snatched 5 interceptions. Fullback kicker Max Webb gave Owls 3-0 lead in the second quarter with 48-yard field goal at the Frogs' lost fumble. Gibbs threw a pair of interceptions in the second half, and they positional touchdown runs by Rice's quarterback Alvin Hartman and Randall Curbo. Owls guard linebacker Rufus King sparkled on defense, while as always, Horned Frogs defensive tackle Bob Lilly did the same in defeat. Utah beat Utah State by a score of 6-0. Sophomore halfback Bud Scaling dashed 12 yards to touchdown in the fourth quarter to give underdog Utah the win over previously unbeaten Utah State. A loss coupled with Wyoming's 30-6 trouncing of Brigham Young left a Sun Bowl bound Utah State in the first place tie in Skyline Conference with Wyoming. Next, number 11 UCLA got upset by Southern California by score 17-6. So USC sophomore quarterback Bill Nelson outplayed Bruin star tailback Billy Kilmer and stabilized upset-minded with fumble-prone Southern California. Nelson hit in Marlon McKeever, a 21-yard touchdown pass in the first quarter. Kilmer's normally effective run-pass off option plays were often thwarted by defensive end McKeever, who was inspired by the presence of his injured twin brother Mike, who was out of hospital and was able now to sit on team bench. But when Trojans had back defensive back Jerry Tranum ran back interception off Kilmer for 29 yards. Fullback Hal Tobin quickly scored for 14-0 lead in the second quarter. UCLA went 75 yards early in the fourth quarter with Kilmer hammering the last 2 yards for score. But fine defensive play throughout game marked USC's upset that saw Trojans finally playing up to their capability. In the battle for the state of Oregon, Oregon played against Oregon State, where number 19 Oregon and Oregon State matchup ended in a tie 14-14. Oregon State and Leon Kreiner set up tailback Don Castle's second quarter touchdown and 2-point run with fumble recovery at 24-yard line. Late in the game, Beavers led 8-6, converted wingback defensive back Graham Mason's interception of Oregon quarterback David Rose for Castle's second touchdown, but Oregon State kicker in Amos Marsh missed extra point kick. So Beavers led 14-6. So Groves passed twice to end Kent Peterson. Paired 15-yard penalties against Oregon State aided tying 72-yard drive. Squat Ducks halfback Cleveland Jones hit in Paul Barge with a touchdown pass. Barge's first catch of the year, and then Jones tied it on reverse run for the 2 points. Number 5, Washington beat Washington State in the battle for Washington for the state of Washington. Number 5, Washington beat Washington State 8-7 in Spokane. Pesky Washington State nearly spoiled Washington's return trip to the Rose Bowl as the Cougars went ahead 7-0 as late as the third quarter interception set stage for quarterback Mel Mellon, nation's offensive leader, to hit superb end Hugh Campbell with a touchdown pass. Campbell finished season with 2 NCAA records to date, 6 receptions and 882 yards. Back came Huskies with methodical 14-play, 52-yard drive launched by halfback Charlie Mitchell's clutch 35-yard kickoff return. Sub-quarterback Kermit Jurgensen scored touchdown, and regular quarterback Bob Hivner came in to hit winning 2-point pass to reliable Marine veteran halfback Don Makita. Now, the game of the year, I wanted to say for the last game to talk about in 1960, the game of the year in 1960 for the college football season was between Kansas and Missouri. Missouri was the #1 team in the country, and they lost by 16 points to 23-7 to Kansas. So that was the game of the year for 1960, November 19th, 1960. The game of the year was Kansas beating #1 Missouri 23-7. So with whole state of Missouri in tizzy over school's first ever #1 ranking, Tigers coach Dan Devine felt there were too many distractions for his Tiger squad. He was unable to pump up Missouri, which deflated when it couldn't benefit from a 3 midfield fumble recoveries. Most shocking were game-long shutdown of Tigers offense and second half disassembly of celebrated Missouri's defense. Great rushing defense by Jayhawks prevented Tigers from gaining even single first down in the scoreless first half. And at game's end, Missouri had been permitted only 114 yards by tenacious Jayhawks. Kansas launched its drive to Big 8 title with quarterback kicker Roger Hill. 47-yard field goal early in the second half. Fumble recovery quickly led to Jayhawks' first touchdown as quarterback John Hadle hit halfback Bert Cohen with a 19-yard pass for 10-0 lead. Cohen added fourth quarter touchdown at end of the 69-yard march. Only bright spot for the Tigers came from quarterback Ron Taylor, future big league pitcher and Toronto Blue Jays team physician, who threw belated touchdown pass in fourth quarter. Still with Kansas on probation, Missouri received Big 8's Orange Bowl bid. Later, Kansas was forced to forfeit its wins over Missouri and Colorado for November 12th, as conference belatedly declared Cohen to be ineligible. So Jayhawks were stripped of their conference crown, and season's most profound upset was rendered inconsequential. So that concludes a look at the week that was, the games that were played on November 19th, 1960, week number 10, November 19th, 1960, the week that was. Now let's get into the AP poll as of November 21st. Minnesota was #1, #2 Iowa, #3 Mississippi, #4 Washington, #5 Missouri. That was the top 5. The rest of the top 10 rounded out as this: Arkansas at #6, #7 Navy, #8 Auburn, #9 Ohio State, #10 Kansas, #11 Duke, #12 Rice, #13 Yale, #14 Michigan State. There was a tie for the 15th spot between New Mexico State and Penn State, and there was a tie between Syracuse and Alabama for the 17th spot, and there was a tie for the 19th spot between Baylor and Florida. So that concludes week number 10, the week that was, week 10, November 19th, 1960, college football history review, week 10. Hope you enjoy everything that I talked about. You can like, subscribe, comment, and subscribe to the channel when you get a chance. This is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel. Until then, talk to you tomorrow.